Okay. Welcome to the Tribute Lounge. I'm Mark Fawcett, and today we're going to be discussing the 2022 Burton Step-On Binding System. So the really exciting thing about the 2022s is they've had the biggest update thus far with new tow hooks, tow hook 2.0. It's eliminated any sort of noise, play. The engagement is very natural and super similar to standard binding system. Now, before I go into a whole lot of detail about the specifics of the new parts of the binding and parts that you're not even familiar with, I'd like to tell you my personal experience with these bindings. I've been using them for 2 years as mostly my daily driver, 80 days plus minus a season on this setup. And I've had 0 failures, boot or binding. And the absolute biggest thing I like about them is the performance gain. Yes, it's convenient, super convenient to be able to just step in and out of these things, but I'm a performance-seeking person, and I wouldn't ride them if they didn't give me some sort of benefit in that manner. What I find way more than any other traditional binding system is that when you, on a toe turn, when you push into the top of this boot, it literally feels like it picks the heel edge up, compared to a traditional system where you kind of have to have the feeling like you're trying to break the main strap off of the binding. Likewise on the heels, you push back in there a little bit and it grabs those toe hooks and it pulls the opposite edge upward. I feel they're definitely more responsive. They accept more power and they deliver that power in a better fashion to the edge. I feel supported laterally. They're a touch stiffer, which I actually like for hard charging, high speed runs. I like that better for when I'm, Euro carving, etc. on the groomers. And they work great in the powder. Again, just having that response and that ability to deliver power to the edge more efficiently is really what has hooked me on this system. Now, of course, for most people, performance aside, the convenience is amazing. So this is something that Burton has been working on for at least 7 years. In the early inception of step-on bindings back in the 90s, everyone had one, Burton included, and they just didn't love how much different it felt than a traditional binding. So it was Jake's mandate to be like, we're not giving up on this, everyone else has. We got to find a way to make it feel and perform at least as good, if not better, than a traditional binding system. So the engineers have been working on these for years. They had nearly 5 seasons of on snow testing and abuse and use before they put it to market, which was 2.5 years ago. Since then, really small updates, and then this new tow hook system is tow hook 2.0 is definitely the biggest update thus far. It's just an upgrade and a really nice one. When you take a really good look at how this now works, it's the same tow hooks on the boot as before, so crossing over from an older boot into a newer binding totally works, so no problems there. Instead of it just being a male-female, there's nylon hook to hold on to the toe cleats and provide flex and resistance instead of there being play. So now they're completely silent. That roll is controlled, so there's no loose play of any sort. It's got a controlled flex, super similar to if you having a toe strap over them. They've gained to 0 weight, super durable, and the one thing is you are looking at buying a new binding if you want to do it. So it's essentially not an option to be able to replace these tow hooks. So if you want to upgrade up to this, you are buying a new binding. At a quick glance, you don't see that traditional forward lean block on the high back. because the step-on mechanism is in that exact spot. But Burton was really clever, and they hid 2 set screws into the high back, and it's essentially like a 2-piece high back now. And by dialing those set screws down or back, you can adjust your forward lean. They even have the little f-stop settings in there. So for 2022, they have expanded and now have 3 bindings in both men's and women's. They have the Step-On, the Step-On X, which has a composite carbon high back, and this is the new Step-On Genesis. The female version of that, and for sizing in particular, is the Escapade. They'll look extremely similar. And what's visually noticeable on that is the kickback hammock. So this technology is brought over from the Genesis and Escapade in the standard line, modified so that of course you can still be stepping in, and it just provides you that little bit of extra squish when you're really hammering into the beginning of your heel turns. For boots, again, have expanded all the way down to a lace-up. This is the Kendo. So 5 different boots ranging from a lace-up through to a ruler, a swath, this being the Photon, the biggest seller and what I use. And they have a speed lace ion that also has a BOA main strap too. In the women, they have 3 boots, the Limelight, the Felix, and the Ritual. And kids, no worries, we have a Step-On for you here now. The Zipline, and it has also extended down to a size 3. I think it only went down to a size 4 or 5 last year. So now kids can get into the Step-On scene with a size 3. In addition to the 5 men's boots and 3 women's boots, there is a wide option in both. So in the men's, they have a Photon wide, and in the women's, they have a Limelight available in a wide sizing as well. And now for what this binding's really about, unbelievable convenience. It's a 3-part connection, a heel cleat, and 2 toe hooks on either side. Simple as this to get in. Heel in first, then the toes. These new toe hook 2.0s go in easier than the previous versions, and you have 2 different clicks in the back. So if there's a bit of snow buildup on a powder day or something like that, you hear it click once, you're fine, you're in. For that ultimate held down a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more solid, or as that powder works its way out, a little ollie or anything, even just a really hard heel turn, and you go into the second position on here. Again, you're fine in position 1, but in position 2, then the bottom of that boot's really locked down to the foot of the binding. And to get out of the binding, as simple as this. 1 quick lever, it stays up. You don't have to be reefing on this lever as you lean forward to get out. So you pull it up, it'll stay up, you just lean forward, out you come.